Hi. So I've been working with Gáis, and I want to talk about how we've used how some of the very simple data manipulations that we've done have led to business insights, and how we can make how data insights like that are accessible to everybody. Don't need a massive data science team to achieve business insights. So tools for the job. Something as simple as spreadsheets, Excel, pivot tables. And the first, I'm going to go through two examples, and in the first example, you could achieve everything just through pivot tables. And then when I go through the second example about data visualizations, again, we're going to build on pivot tables and then just plug it into a data visualization tool. So for example, a freeware tool like RStudio, don't have to spend anything, or Microsoft's Power BI. Get your pivot table, plug it in, select your visualization. The business problem that we're trying to address is understanding the customer's mindset. We were talking about, in the previous presentation, we saw the 5 W's, we want to understand more about the customer and who we're talking to, what it is we want to talk to them about, when, and so on. So how do we get there? Particularly in the energy industry, we don't necessarily have a lot of interaction with our customers. So that's our challenge. And like say, for instance, telecoms, where you have a lot of day-to-day interactions within the energy industry, if you are, then there's probably something wrong. So we have to use the data that we have available to maximize our insights. Step one, it's all about the data. I'm sure you've all heard about rubbish in, rubbish out. Right. Again, trying to keep this simple. We can't get to the end part about communicating unless we have our data at the beginning. This again can be something very simple like a template in Excel. Right? You want to make sure that your sales information isn't in the heads of your sales agent, isn't on a notepad, collected in a standard format, keep it clean, keep it correct. Right? And then we're going to get good information out of that. So the first model I'm going to talk about is recency, frequency, and monetary value. Just these three measures and how we applied them to the boiler service, the gas boiler service product set. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, gas boiler service is something that you would get once a year at most. We'd recommend every year, and this helps keep them maintain the efficiency and the safety of your gas boiler. So using these three measures, then we can pinpoint each customer into a category. So I'm going to go through two customer examples. So first step, so we take the recency and frequency. So in customer one, the recency is they had a service 1 year ago. And the frequency, we can see a pattern of a bi-yearly service. So in their head, they get a service every second year, and they don't think they need a service this year. Customer number two, they're a very similar customer. They also have a pattern of every second year, but their recency is 2 years ago. So there's a very different conversation to have. They're in the mindset of purchasing this year. It should be an easy sale. We combine those, the recency and frequency, trying to into categories. So we just call these instances bi-yearly off, bi-yearly on. Then combining in the monetary value and trying to derive an action. So example one, monetary value is medium, but really what we're focusing in here on is incentivize the sale this year. What we want to build is a habit form. We want to form habits. We want them to buy a product every year. All right, so we're going to talk to them about, we're potentially going to talk to them about what is the value of having a service every year. Why should they have the service this year? Safety, cost savings on their boiler, just avoiding breakdowns. And then where example two, the customer is already in the mindset of purchasing. So we're going to talk about, we see that their monetary value is low. They come in at a kind of introductory product level. And we're going to talk, we have the space and the time to talk about the benefits of going for our higher value products. We can talk to them about contracts and covering costs if they do have a breakdown. So delivering these insights, first of all, to our sales agents, and then what is the customer message? We keep it simple was the message throughout. So while we had 4 categories of recency, so 1 year, 2 year, more than 3 years or never. Frequency, we had 7 categories. So it's grown in complexity. We brought those into 7 categories, and then when you add in the monetary value, we have lots of permutations. So we simplified that into 3 types of sales lead, 3 files. And then delivering that to our sales agents, we said one sales agent only gets 1 type of lead. So they know going into a conversation with the customer what the customer mindset is, what the conversation is going to be, how to lead that conversation, and what objections they might have to handle. So they go in, they already know what they're going to say. So what effect did this have on the business? Typically what we see at the beginning of any monthly cycle is the agents start off a little slow. They might come in at about 90% of target. And as the month goes on, they start performing a bit harder, try and hit that month-end target, which is their commissions are based on. And then once they hit it, we'll see there in week 4, they drop off a little again. They know they've hit this month. On week 5, we brought in this model, and we started off by hitting 120% conversion rate, 120% of the target through just simply getting higher conversion rates on our sales leads. And we've now hit a record sales. We've been doing this for over 5 years with Gáis, and we've hit the highest conversion rates we've ever had on sales leads. So not everything is positive about this approach, right? There are challenges. And probably the biggest challenge we've had is how do you keep the sales agents motivated when they're on their harder sales leads? So we tried 3 different approaches with that. One is we incentivize the sales on the harder leads through 1, discounting it for the customer, 2, increasing the commission for the sales agent. We've also looked at how to create competition within the sales agents group team by if the better they perform, the more likely they are to get moved up onto the easier sales, and they can then create extra commission for themselves. And we've also looked at the sizing of teams so that they don't necessarily have to appropriately size teams to the size of the files. They won't necessarily get stuck on the harder sales for too long. The second example I'm going to go through is about data visualizations. In the specific example, I'm going to talk about a Sankey diagram, but really what I'm talking about is, in a general sense, how can we gain business insights from data visualizations, and how they're really good for, 1, communicating within the business and up to management level, how we can identify operational issues, and how we can identify business opportunities. So Sankey diagram, for anyone who's not familiar, it shows flows of data between various attributes. So starting from the left, we have our sales channels, just labeled them here, channel 1 to 11. And the width of the band flowing to the right is proportional. So there's more within channel 11 channel 11 at the top there, flowing into year 3. The second category, we have the tenure of our customers. So each bar is a category of tenure. Then we have the product mix, and then some attributes, additional attributes on level pay and paperless billing. Level pay is a payment facility that we offer to try and reduce or to level out bills across the year, reduce seasonality impact and bill shock. And then lastly, we have rewards, whether customers are in the rewards club or not. So one example of how we've used this report is if we look here at channel 11, we talked to our management team about a strategy to diversify our sales across sales channels, not all have all of our eggs in one basket. We can see here that we used to have the sales over 3 years ago, where the vast majority were in that one channel. But if we look here in the last year, it's much more spread out. So we've reduced that risk. Anything changing in the industry will hopefully affect us less. Anything goes wrong with a particular sales channel, we have our sales spread out. For identifying business issues, operational issues, we also use the same report. And if we look here at, say, our dual fuel contracts, we were able to say, we know that our dual fuel contract should have a level pay and paperless billing. But we can quickly identify from this report that there are a few streams here where they do not have, so everyone should be in this one stream where they have both level pay and paperless. But there's a few along here that do not. So we can quickly identify who those customers are, go fix the problem before it becomes an issue for the customer. And then when we refresh the report, we should see everybody back in here. And then a third way we use the same report again is we were able to identify business opportunity. So we looked at our rewards customers, and we know that the rewards experience is completely online. It's web page, it's email communication. And so anyone who's in our rewards club and using it is completely comfortable with that online experience. But at the same time, we can see that these customers here and these customers here don't have paperless billing. So it's a win-win. We can go talk to those customers about how they can increase their discounts. They can save money by simply getting a paperless bill rather than us sending out a postal bill every bill cycle. And then we can save money on cost to serve. So it's win-win. It's a no-brainer for a campaign. So to summarize, data can be used really simply to increase conversions on sales leads, to reduce cost to serve, to communicate effectively through data visualizations without necessarily having to have a data science team. Thank you.